impressive in being able to put a map together pretty quickly. And then we picked a target. So we needed to choose a customer and also a place on the map where we wanted to focus for that day. So the teams picked two different areas. One team picked learning, actually, and one team picked organization. So this is the afternoon team doing a technique called dot voting, where you don't argue your case, you don't spend a long time talking about it. You get a dot, which is sticky, or you can actually use a Sharpie, and you put a dot next to the thing that you think we should do. Sometimes you get 3 dots, so you can spread those out or put them all in one place, and then the decider decides. So the decider decided for us, and then it was Tuesday morning. There are some things that we skipped in there, which I can explain to anybody who wants to listen to me continue to talk later today. But we went straight to Tuesday, so we started sketching. And the sketching is not start by drawing the idea that you have in your head right now, but collect information and inspiration to start with. And so we did what's called lightning demos. So everybody thought of something that they thought might be kind of sort of relevant in some way. They spent a little time researching it, and then they had 2 minutes to present to the rest of the team a demo of that thing and describe how they thought it might be relevant. We had a scribe who captured on the board all those ideas so we could refer to them later. And then finally we were ready to start drawing solutions, and that actually went through a 4-step process. So the first thing that you would normally do in a sprint is take notes. You'd have a bunch of stuff up on the walls, but we were moving quickly and had less stuff up on the walls. So we skipped the notes and we went straight to ideas. So just draw for yourself the ideas that you came up with. And then we went to something called Crazy Eights. So you take a piece of paper, you fold it in eights, you pick your best idea, you draw it in the first frame, and then you get 60 seconds. And then you think of a variation on that idea, and you draw it in the second frame, and you get 60 seconds. And this Crazy Eights technique forces your ingenuity to the forefront because there's a little bit of time pressure. And it also prevents you from jumping to the solution at the beginning. You have to think of different ideas, and it was interesting to talk to people after the workshop who thought they had it solved. And we're a little bit annoyed that we were doing Crazy Eights, or we actually did Crazy Fours because we were running out of time. But yeah, had a better solution at the end of the Crazy Fours process than they had going into it. So there you have it. Here's an example of Crazy Eights. So then it was time for a solution sketch. So this is all very prescribed. You take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You take a large sticky note. You use those, 3 large sticky notes are steps in a storyboard. And you tell a little story. And it can be ugly, but it's self-explanatory. And there's lots of boxes and lots of words. And then at the end, you put them up on the wall. And the reason that they need to be self-explanatory is because on Wednesday morning, so we all pretended we went home and had a glass of wine and a good night's sleep, obviously based on the conversations that we've been having today. We come back in on Wednesday morning and they're all up on the wall. So in order to make a decision about what we're going to prototype, we start with something called Art Museum. So everything's up on the wall, and we don't argue, we don't describe the drawing that we made, we don't sort of give up the choice of the best solution to the person who's the best orator. You silently take a pass, look at, and that's why it's so important that it be self-explanatory. And then we do something called heat maps. So you get little stickies. There's lots of little sticky dots and big sticky dots in GV sprints. And everybody got to go around, and they could use as many as they want. Thank you. And if they have if they're really excited about one idea or one portion of the idea, they could put 4 sticky dots there. They're like, oh, that's kind of cool. They could put one, run the whole idea or some portion of the idea. Next, there's a straw poll, which we skipped because, again, we were a little tight on time, but everybody ultimately gets a big dot, and they get to say, this is really where I would put it. If I was the decider, this is what I would go with. And then finally, there's a super vote. So the person who's the decider gets 3 dots, and they put those dots up next to the things that they want to test. Again, these aren't necessarily the best ideas. They might be the riskiest ideas. they're the things that they think they want to prototype and get in front of people. So the super voters super voted. And then we were done with the 2-hour workshop. So back at the ranch, I have the advantage of having a bunch of amazing designers. So we brought those solutions to them this morning, and at 9:30 we sat down with them and we said, can you guys make some prototypes for us by like 4 o'clock today? And they're like, sure, Audrey, we'll try. So we did a storyboard. This picture is taken of the storyboard that we did this morning in my office before I drove down here. That's crazy, right? This is crazy. I mean, it's really crazy. I hope you guys understand, but very cool. And then we prototyped it, and reminding ourselves the whole time today, you may have seen me like back there stressing out, like sweating or pacing on the phone, that if our goal is to learn, we won't fail. So I'm sure I'm excited about the process, but you guys are all excited about the results. So I'll switch to the results. So we have 2 prototypes, one from each session. The first one is called MedTube. So these are the 3 things that got voted on. This one, unfortunately, we had a hard time including with the other 2, but I did want to make a shout out to it because it's, first of all, it's all written, which I think is great because it's fine. It still describes itself really well. And second of all, it was put together by somebody who's not in tech, who's not in product, who's not a designer, but it's something that was selected by our designer. The next one is something called VR Doc. So with your phone, you take a picture of the pill bottle, and then you can learn more about that particular medication. There are videos that happen and some kind of feedback process. And you can see all the little dots from the heat map voting that we did. This one is called AI Meets YouTube. So different medical pros are certified to make videos. So there's a large population of videos available to a patient via their personalized channel based on who they are and the prescriptions that they're on. And then adherence is tracked, and the people who watch videos that end up having better adherence, those videos are promoted more, and also the people that are submitting the videos get cash paid out for doing that. So that's what we started with. And here's the prototype that we put together. So this is Mary. She's got a new prescription, so she gets out her iPad, and she takes a picture of the bottle. And it says, okay, about the new prescription, it's been added to your cabinet. And here's a description of the medication. So she kind of has this cabinet. She has all the medications that she's on. And then here's what you need to know. So there's a label, reproduce, and then questions that she might have, like what are the symptoms I might experience, or what kind of food should I eat? So if she selects, for example, what kind of food should I eat, and she's a vegetarian, if she selects what kind of food should I eat, she goes through a little questionnaire that helps personalize the videos that are going to populate her channel. So she goes through the questionnaire, and then she gets Mary's channel. And there's lots of videos there. There's a most highly recommended one, and you can see that it's not recommended based on how many people liked it or how many people watched it. It's recommended based on how many people it actually helped. So here at small type, you can see it helped 12,758 people. And there's videos and a variety of talks, obviously submitted by a variety of people. So she goes ahead, oh, dang it, I knew something was going to happen. This is my fault, not the fault of the prototypers. So she goes ahead and she watches the video. And then other things are recommended over here, and again, you'll see based on how many people were helped by that video. I resize the slide. So that's the first one. Pretty amazing, right? Like the solution, and moreover, the process. Imagine people spending just 2 hours together, people who never met one another, going through that process and coming up with that. And we could show that to somebody tomorrow on that iPad and see how they react to it. I feel like I sort of have goosebumps. This is the afternoon team. I feel like anybody from the afternoon team that's here, you should stand up. They all left. They're like, to hell with it. There's one. Is that it? Is that all we have left? Yeah. Look at that. Okay, so here's our second one. Him. This is going to be fun. Helpful, intelligent mirror. So here were the 3 sketches that went into that. This is a smart pill dispenser, so the bottle glows or alarms. There are lots of dots around, so people with hearing impairments or visual impairments knew that it was time to take their medication. And then the second one was about somebody who's evidently balding, is leaving his house, and there's a reminder right there. So there's a lot of emphasis on convenience, and the water's right there too, so he can just take that right away. And then finally, there was this idea about the smart glass. So a bathroom mirror that did face and voice recognition. Sorry, I should say in that first example, the artificial intelligence comes in learning and pushing videos as appropriate based on who you are and what's effective. You guys are all like, yes, of course. Okay. So here's him. So Fred gets up, he walks into the bathroom, there's face recognition, and he talks, and him talks to Fred, and him says, "Good morning, I hope you slept well. Here are the medications that you're taking now," and asks, but also is visually able to say whether Fred would like to take his medication now or later. But it made note for Fred that one of the medications is recommended to be taken 5 minutes. All right, no problem. Might be taken with food. I'm going to talk faster. You guys ready? Yeah. I hope you had some coffee this afternoon. All right. So might be taken with food. So he says, okay, I'm going to take it later. Fred has breakfast. He's super happy about his breakfast. And then he goes to leave the house with his dog, but he also has a key fob. This was part of one of the sketches. And so the key fob lights up and vibrates, and the mirror, him says, "Fred, don't forget to take your morning medication." But he may not be able to hear it, but he has a key fob. So he goes back and says, and the mirror says to Fred, "Are you ready to take your medication?" And Fred says, "Yes, him, I am." It sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. "Yes, him, I am." And so the medication is dispensed in a pouch below the actual medicine cabinet, and of course the sink is right there, so he can just take it. He could also ask it to dispense multiple if he's going to be out, needs to take medication in the middle of the day. And so him says, "Great, now you're ready for the day." And a reminder, by the way, that it's about 9 hours until he needs to take medication again. So, in my fantasy world, we actually do test this with users. And back at the office, they put the interface on an iPad and duct taped it to the mirror in our bathroom. Because I want to make a point that I'm not just showing this to make it look sexy and pretty and impressive to you, although I hope that you're impressed because that's pretty awesome. But that we would then test this with users. We could tomorrow test him with users in a bathroom. So, it's exciting, right? Yeah, okay. Here's what I learned. You guys are competitive. I must have told 100 people that this is not a competition from the very moment that we came up with this idea. And even within the session itself, people were talking about who's winning. I'm just going to move on from that. Waiting to solution is hard, so that was the other thing I mentioned, that people didn't want to do a lightning demo. They want to describe their solution. 2 minutes left. 3, optimism prevails. So lots of times when we walk in to do a GV sprint or other things that are fairly ambitious, people say, this is crazy, it's not going to work. But you guys didn't say it. So while competitive, I was really impressed with, all right, I'm going to put my faith in you, lady, and let's just see where it goes. And that was really helpful. What I hope you take away from this is that you probably hear the word research and you think, oh God, millions of dollars and months and HIPAA, and I get it. We do research in the medical field too, but it's still possible to learn fast. And that's really critical for obvious reasons, hopefully. 2, work with designers beyond screens. So what you saw us accomplish here in the last 24 hours is way beyond what colors the button or even what's on the screen. It's how do we even make it possible for these people to come together, look at a whole problem space, identify a solution, ideate, iterate, prototype. It's pretty kick-ass stuff, right? And then finally, it wouldn't break my heart if you remembered the name of Design That. Okay. So congratulations. The morning team should stand up too. Everybody who participated, maybe stand up. I see some of you guys. Okay. Great. Congratulations to you guys, and thank you so much for participating. thanks to my amazing team back at Design Map who was willing to put their faith in me and this crazy idea. And that's it. Do I have any time left? Close! Does anybody have one question? I have 60 seconds and I can totally do it. No. Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much. And thanks to the organizers for having faith in me being able to pull this off. I really appreciate the opportunity. I had a great time. Thanks, you guys.